Hi. Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you, fifth graders, for walking over here. Woohoo! That was awesome. Okay, so here's what we have. I don't know what Ty and Deanna told you, but we have our jury over there, right? So their job is going to be to decide whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty. In order to come to a verdict, they have to have a unanimous decision. The judge, when she comes in, is going to give them instructions. And so you'll get to hear what they hear from the judge so that you know what their job is. You guys are reporters, so we want to hear what kind of facts you hear. We want to know what you think of the case. We want to know what you think of the performance. These lawyers and witnesses have worked really hard since January. They've learned a lot. They've been a lot of fun. They've been a little crazy sometimes, but they've been a lot of fun. Right here on this side is the prosecution. So they're the ones saying that the person did the crime. They're trying to convince the jury that the defendant did the crime. This side is the defense. They're trying to say, he didn't do it, or you certainly don't have enough evidence to prove it, right? So they have different jobs, and that's why they're on different sides of the room. Right now, the defendant is outside, and the judge is outside, because we want you to experience what it's like to have to stand for the honorable judge of the court. If you have questions, participants, Rada or Rodrigo or Andy are happy to help you, but I'm probably not going to have time to answer your questions. So Yasmin has a question. So I think they give you a background of what mock trial is, which is great. And these kids, though they have papers with them, and they will occasionally be reading from things, they have created this. This was not a script that we downloaded from the internet. We used the facts that Rosa Parks is using, and we gave those to the witnesses to bring to life, and we gave those to the lawyers to do with what they could. So they have asked for help, but most of what you see is their work, which is really great. And just like true attorneys, there were some of them who were done last week, Wednesday, and haven't made any changes. And I did get an email this morning with some changes. So you'll see things progress as we go. And this is our first time for doing it at Thousand Oaks, so there's some glitches, so we thank you for your patience, but we think it's going to be a lot of fun. We have the help of Rohini today, Anjani's sister. She's skipping school. Don't do it, but do it if it's fun. She's skipping school to do this mock trial with us. She will be our bailiff. Please do not clap as things go along. You're going to want to clap for your friends. You're going to want to clap for them as witnesses, as lawyers. Don't do it, because you'll get kicked out of the courtroom, because that's what happens in real life, right? We will clap at the end for everyone. So jurors especially, you know what a poker face is? Use your poker face. Don't make it obvious which side you think should win, right? Really listen the whole time and be good listeners. We want to thank the fifth grade teachers for making this possible. Jenny, Bob, and Robin, Ms. Begoshen. Yay, thank you, thank you. Rosa Parks does this at night because they do it essentially for the families. And these teachers wanted the fifth graders to have this experience as a whole. And I think it was a really telling sign of what they think of our kids. They wanted all of our kids to have this experience. So I'm really glad we were able to do that. Thank you to Principal Korn, who is here. You can't always just say, we want to do something at this school, and people say, go for it. You have to actually have people in charge who are willing to say, yes, that's a good idea. What do you need in order for that to happen? So we're really thankful for Ms. Korn. We want to also say thank you to our 3 helpers from the law school. We have 3 law students who've been helping us all semester. We have Rodrigo, Susana, and Srimui. Thank you so much. They're international lawyers, and they're here at Berkeley Law for a year. They've already graduated from Berkeley Law, and they've continued to come and help. So we've been really lucky to have them as a part of this. And then also a thank you to Cassandra. We have a student teacher. This is Teacher Jenny's student teacher, and she has been helping your kids pretty much every Wednesday since January. And she did not have to do that. She did not have to stay after school, and it's been invaluable. So we're really thankful for Cassandra. Finally, we want to thank our judge today, who's not here yet. We're waiting, so you have to stand up for her. But her name is Elizabeth Riles, and she is a BUSD grad. She is also a Stanford grad, and then she went to law school right here at Berkeley Law. So we're really fortunate to have her. She has her own firm in Oakland, where she does employment discrimination work, and she is a judge pro tem at several counties in the area. We're really happy and lucky to have her. So without further ado, I'm going to start Thousand Oaks' first mock trial. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and welcome to Thousand Oaks mock trial. I'm now playing the role of clerk of the courtroom. Please turn off all cell phones, or at least put them on vibrate. You're free to take pictures, but if I hear your phone going off or if I see you playing on it, I might take it, because that's what they do in the courtroom. You'll get it back afterwards. You can take pictures, like I said, but please don't use distracting flashes. And some shutters are really distracting, so just be thoughtful about that. Once the trial starts, the judge and I and the bailiff will not tolerate any talking, any applauding, or outbursts of emotion of any kind, except for the performers here. So we don't have to kick anyone out. We're really happy everyone's here, and we just want to thank you. So without further ado, we will have our bailiff call in the judge.
All rise, the Honorable Elizabeth Giles.
All rise means stand up. Up, 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 or you get kicked out. Up. Naeem, up.
You may be seated. Can the clerk please call the case?
Now calling case number 15 CR 3419, People versus Connor McLax.
Will the bailiff please bring in the defendant? Ms. Lim, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Chuckleham, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I see the bailiff has already brought in the jury. Good morning. All right. Thank you, members of the jury. The defendant in this case, Connor McLax, is accused of committing the crime of petty theft. You are here to decide if Mr. McLax is guilty or not guilty. A defendant in a criminal case is presumed to be innocent. Just because he is sitting here before you does not mean he is guilty. The prosecution must prove that Connor McLax is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt is proof that leaves you very sure that the allegation is true. The evidence the prosecution presents does not have to get rid of all possible doubt, because everything in life is open to some possible or imaginary doubt. It's up to you, as jurors, to decide which witnesses to believe. In deciding whether the testimony is true, use your common sense and experience. Consider the testimony of each witness and decide how much of it you believe. Among the factors you may consider are how well could the witness see or hear the things about which the witness testified, how well was the witness able to remember and describe what happened, was the witness's testimony influenced by a personal relationship with someone involved in the case. The defendant, Mr. McLax, is charged with one count of petty theft in violation of Section 484 of the California Penal Code. To prove that the defendant is guilty of this crime, the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Connor McLax, took property or money owned by someone else without the owner's permission. After you hear all of the testimony and arguments in the case, you will talk amongst yourselves, which is called deliberating. You will then vote to decide whether you think Mr. McLax is guilty or not guilty. Your decision, which is called a verdict, must be unanimous. That means all of you will need to agree that Mr. McLax is either guilty or not guilty. If all of you do not agree, that is called a hung jury. But I am hopeful that you will be able to reach a unanimous decision. Before we begin, I would like to ask all the members of the jury to make sure you do not speak, laugh, or make any noise during the trial. If you do, you may be removed from the jury. We want everyone to be able to concentrate on the lawyers and witnesses who are conducting the trial. Members of the audience, please do not applaud during the trial. I really appreciate your cooperation. Let's proceed with opening statements. Ms. Lim, is the prosecution ready to proceed with its opening statement?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. My name is Sarah Lim, and I'm part of the prosecution team. This case is about $250 stolen by Connor McLax from the Berkeley High lacrosse team bake sale. Today, you will be seeing a few witnesses. Enrique Mendoza, who was the captain of the lacrosse team, Mark Chin, who was another goalie along with Connor, and Saba Sultan, who was a good friend of Connor's. Enrique will tell you a lot of the information about the bake sale and how it's organized. Mark will tell you about the money that was in the metal box and the cash box, and when he saw Connor take the money. Saba will tell you about when she saw a ton of money at the bottom of Connor's bag and when Connor was showing off his new iPhone. Here are a few pieces of evidence that will help you prove Connor McLax guilty of the crime. First of all, Connor was seen taking the money and shoving it into his pockets. This was just after he had asked Mark Chan to go down away from the stall to wave more business onto the bake sale. Connor had also asked for the 3 to 4 p.m. shift. And why would he want a later shift? I think it's because there would be more money to steal. Connor had been wanting a new iPhone, but had never had enough money to buy one. The Monday after the bake sale, Connor and Sab were hanging out, and he asked her to go into his bag to get his water bottle. She saw a bunch of money at the bottom of Connor's bag. A few days later, Connor had a new iPhone and was showing it off to some of his friends in the courtyard at lunch. Saba asked him, "Didn't you not have enough money to buy that?" And he said, "I never said that," and walked away nervously. That is why you have to find Connor McLax guilty of the crime. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Lim. Ms. Chocklacombe, would the defense like to make an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, welcome. My name is Anjani Chockalingam, and I'm a defense attorney for Connor McLax. This case is about a bake sale that happened on February 4th, 2017, raising money for the Berkeley High boys lacrosse team. The prosecution side will claim that there was $1,000 to start with in the cash box, and while nobody was watching, Connor stole about $250. This is not true. We will show you that we don't even know if there was $1,000 to start with in the middle box. Either there wasn't this money to start with, or Connor did not steal this money. I will show you some very important facts that should prove to you that Connor is not guilty. First of all, you will hear about Connor's character, and that it's not in his nature to steal something like steal $250. You'll hear from Dolores McKenzie that he's a top-notch employee and that he's very trustworthy. Additionally, you'll hear that Rashawn Davis, Connor's friend, had to tell the teammates to stop eating the cookies and brownies that the team was selling for the bake sale. You also hear that we don't even know if there was 500 cookies and brownies to start with. So if they were selling the cookies and brownies at $2, but they didn't even have 500 cookies and brownies to start with, and that could be another reason why they didn't make $1,000. You will hear that Mark Chin was the only one who saw Connor take any money. Isn't that quite suspicious that he's the only one that saw Connor take any money, and that he holds a major and why should we find him trustworthy? Because he holds a major grudge against Connor. They are both on the Berkeley High lacrosse team, but Connor gets to play goalie instead of him because the coach thinks that Connor's a better goalie. So it would make sense. So if Connor got kicked off the team, wouldn't that be good for Mark Chin? So why would Mark Chin be a trustworthy source? Finally, you'll hear that Connor was the one who suggested to get the new jerseys, and he was complaining about how ratty the old ones were. And if he knew that if money was missing, they wouldn't get the new jerseys, so why would he steal them? The evidence and the witnesses will show you that Connor McClax isn't guilty of taking any money. It was just misplaced or was never even there to start with. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Chuckalingham. Prosecution, can you please call your first witness?
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Hello, my name is Calvin Thomas. I'm on the prosecution team, and I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Please state your name and age.
My name is Enrique Mendoza, and I'm 17 years old.
How do you know the defendant?
He's the goalie on the Berkeley lacrosse team.
About how much money do you make at the bake sale per year?
Around $1,000.
And how much money was missing from your normal amount?
Around $250.
When was the bake sale this year?
February 4th, 2017.
What were you trying to get with the money from the bake sale?
New jerseys.
And will you be able to get it with the money you made?
No.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Defense counsel?
Hi, Enrique. My name is Anjani Chuckalingham, and I'm one of 3 people who are going to ask you some questions. You're the captain of the Berkeley High boys lacrosse team, right?
Yes.
And you're responsible for the bake sale, correct?
Yes.
If you can't make up the money, will you be worried that the team will hold you responsible?
Yes.
The team wasn't keeping track of the money carefully at the bake sale, am I correct?
Yes.
So it's possible that no money actually went missing. It just wasn't kept carefully, yes?
It is possible, yes.
Hi, Enrique. I'm Zarian Jacka, and I'll be asking you some questions too. At the bake sale, you did not keep track of the money whenever someone bought something, correct?
Yes, correct.
So you don't know how much money actually went into the metal box at the bake sale, correct?
Yes.
You don't count the cookies and brownies at the beginning of each bake sale, right?
Yes, but the dad who makes them says there are around 500 of them.
But you don't know how many cookies and brownies exactly you started with, correct?
Correct.
And you don't know how many cookies and brownies you sold, correct? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Samir O'Brien, and I'll be asking you some questions too. Did you see other kids taking cookies without paying for them?
No.
Were you the one who counted the money at the end of the bake sale?
Yes.
There was no one around when you counted the money when you counted the money, right? Yes. In fact, you could have stolen the money and no one would have seen you, correct? Correct. You can't even be 100% sure that the money was even stolen, right?
Yes.
I have no further questions. Thank you for your time.
Are there any further questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. You're excused. Next witness for the prosecution.
People call Mark Chin.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Jantz, and I will be asking you a few questions. Please state your name and age.
My name is Mark Chin, and I'm 17 years old.
How do you know the defendant?
He's on the lacrosse team with me.
What was your interaction with the defendant when he signed up for the bake sale?
Well, I was in charge of assigning shifts, and he was the first to sign up. He wanted one of the later shifts, so I gave him the 3 to 4 p.m. shift. It was kind of suspicious because, well, I mean, why would he need it to be the later shift? And then later, I was at the same shift as him, and we were working, and he told me to go down to the end of the block to get more customers to come. And so I went there, and when no one was looking, I saw him take money out of the box and shove it into his pockets.
Do you need glasses for school or all the time?
For school and in school only reading.
So you have no trouble seeing things far away, right? No. Has the defendant ever talked to you about wanting a new iPhone?
Yes, vaguely.
Do you think that Connor stole? Wait, do you have enough money for now for the team to buy new jerseys?
No.
Did you know any other ways of Connor getting the money besides Dolores?
No.
Thank you. That will be all.
Thank you. Ms. Candler?
Hi, Mark. I'm Lucy Candler. I'm one of the attorneys for Connor McLax, and I'm going to ask you some questions. You play goalie, right?
Yes.
And that's the same position that Connor plays, right?
Yes.
You don't get to play very much because the coach thinks Connor's better than you, right?
Correct.
If Connor is proven guilty, he'll get kicked off the team and you'll get to play goalie more, right?
Yes.
And you think that the team will be better with you playing goalie instead of him, right?
Yes.
When you thought you saw Connor steal the money, you're down at the very end of the block, right?
Yes.
And there were people in between you, right?
Yes.
You were talking to people when this happened, correct?
Correct.
You normally wear glasses, correct?
Yes.
And you weren't wearing glasses when this happened, right? You're the only one that saw this, right?
Yes.
And you're going to get something good out of this, right?
Yes.
You claim you saw Connor, but when Connor steal the money, but when you came back to the table, you didn't say anything, right?
No, I did not say anything.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? All right. Mr. Chen, you're excused. Prosecution will call their next witness. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ronan Gar, and I'm from the prosecution team, and I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions. Please state your name and age.
My name is Saba Sultan, and I'm 16 years old.
How well do you know the defendant?
He's my best friend.
What kind of phone does he have?
He has a flip phone.
Was there a better phone he wanted to get?
Yes.
What kind of a phone?
An iPhone 7.
How badly did he want it?
He said I'd do anything to get an iPhone 7, but I could never afford one.
What did you do on Monday after the bake sale?
I was in downtown Berkeley with him, and he asked me to reach into his bag to pull out his water bottle. And when I looked inside, he had a ton of cash, but I didn't say anything because I didn't feel it was my place to.
What did you do a few days later at lunch?
We were in the courtyard, and he was showing off his brand new iPhone 7 to his friends.
What did you say about it?
I confronted him and told him, you said just a few days ago you could never afford one.
When he spoke to Connor, how did he act?
He looked around nervously, then shuffled away.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Jacka?
Hi, Saba. My name is Zarian Jacka, and I'll be asking you some questions. Do you go to Berkeley High?
Yes.
You're not on the lacrosse team, correct?
No.
Even though you're not on the lacrosse team, you know about their bake sales, right?
Correct.
And you know about them because of the amazing cookies and brownies they sell, right?
Yes.
A lot of people come to buy the cookies and brownies, correct?
Yes.
They come from all over the Bay, right? So any one of these many people could have stolen that money, right?
Yes.
You saw Connor at the bake sale, correct?
Yes.
And isn't it true that you never saw him take any money from the metal box at the bake sale, correct?
Yes.
Isn't it true that Connor was excited that the team was going to get new jerseys?
Yes.
You're friends with Connor, correct?
Yes.
And you know him as a trustworthy person, correct?
Yes.
No further questions.
All right, thank you. Ms. Sultan, you're excused. Does the prosecution have another witness to call? Very well, thank you very much. Does the defense have any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls for Sean Davis.
Nice job, kiddo. Talk slowly, okay? Talk slowly. Some good questions.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Hi, Rashawn Davis. I'm David Alper and Daniel, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. Are you on the Berkeley lacrosse team?
No.
Would you define the defendant as a good friend of yours?
Yes.
What connection do you have to the bake sale?
My dad baked the cookies
How long have you known Connor for?
my whole life.
What do you do during the bake sale?
I hang out with my friends.
How would you say the lacrosse players handle the money at the bake sale?
Very sloppy.
Can you describe the way that the team keeps track of the money? Is money handled in a cautious, responsible way at the bake sale?
Yes.
How many brownies and cookies did the lacrosse team start with at the bake sale?
500.
How many cookies and brownies did your dad make this year?
500.
Does your father count the cookies and brownies before giving it to the lacrosse team?
I saw him baking the cookies, but I didn't be sure that he were counting.
Is it possible that there were less than 500 cookies and brownies? How much do they sell each for? How much do they sell each one for? $2. Do they always sell for $2? No. Have you seen them sell for less than $2? Yes. No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Castro?
Hello, Rashawn. My name is Melody Castro, and I am on the prosecution team, and I'm going to be asking you a few questions. Your dad made the brownies for the bake sale, and he is a professional baker, right?
Yes.
You've been friends with Connor for a while.
Yes.
You would hate to see anything bad happen to him. There have been previous times in bake sale. There have been bake sales where you have, or the team has given brownies away for free.
Yes.
This year, did you see any team member give a brownie away for free?
No.
So your testimony is that this year you didn't see anyone take or be given a brownie away for free.
Yes.
Further questions?
All right, thank you. Mr. Davis, you're excused.
Thank you.
The next witness for the defense.
The defense calls Rebecca.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good morning, Ms. Epstein. I'm Samira Brown, and I'll be asking you some questions. What is your job?
I'm a coach of a Berkeley High lacrosse team.
How do you know Connor McLax?
He's the coach on the lacrosse team.
How long have you known Connor?
For about 2 years now.
Would you say Connor is trustworthy?
Yes, very trustworthy.
Were you at the bake sale?
Yes.
For how long?
I didn't keep track of the time.
Were you there when Connor was working?
No.
Were you there when other kids were working at the bake sale?
Yes.
Did you see some team members eating cookies and brownies without paying for them?
Yes.
Did you say anything to the kids who were eating cookies and brownies without paying for them?
I said stop those so to make money for the new jerseys.
Did you see kids give away some cookies to their friends without asking them to pay?
Yes.
Do you think the kids did a great job of keeping track of money that was coming in?
No, they were very sloppy.
Was there an exact count of cookies that were sold and how much each person paid?
No.
Was there a way to know how much money came in on the day of the bake sale?
No.
Have you ever seen Connor with an iPhone or hear him talk about how he really wants one?
Yes.
Are you aware of any tension between Connor and his backup goalie, Mark Chin?
I know Lily wants to be the starting goalie.
In your experience as a coach, have you seen backup players who are jealous of the kids that start in front of them?
Of course. That's just part of any sports team. Moulton is like that too.
What was the purpose of the bake sale?
To get new jerseys.
How did Connor feel about the team getting new jerseys?
He was very concerned because he was worried about not getting enough money.
Knowing Connor McLax, do you think he would steal money from the bake sale?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Woodfin?
Hi, Yasmin. Hi, Rebecca. Epstein. My name is Robbie, and I just have a few questions for you.
Okay.
You put a lot of time and effort into the team, right?
Yes.
Is it important for a coach to have a successful season?
Yes.
Is Connor the most important player on the team?
Yes.
Losing Connor would be bad for the team, right?
Yes.
Would it ruin the season?
Yes.
It would be bad if you had to kick someone off the team, right?
Right.
You once had to do that before, right?
Yes.
You said you couldn't imagine Connor stealing from the lacrosse team. Is that correct?
Yes.
You know everyone knows that the bake sale money counting is sloppy.
Right.
You know Connor would know about that too, wouldn't you?
Yes.
No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Epstein, you're excused. Does the defense have another witness?
Hello, my name is Hudson Till. I'll be asking you some questions today. What do you do for a living?
Market, a small corner store in Berkeley.
What kind of people do you hire at Cedar Market?
Top-notch, trustworthy people.
Does Connor work for you on weekends?
Yes.
What kind of person is Connor McLax?
Hardworking and trustworthy.
Did Connor need money from you?
Yes.
Exactly how did he ask for the money?
He asked for a raise.
Did you give him the raise?
No.
Why not?
I couldn't afford to.
Did you give Connor any money?
Yes.
How much money?
$100.
No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Rosen?
Hi, I'm Lily Rosen, and I'm a prosecutor, and I just have a few questions for you. Do you know where Connor, or the defendant, got the rest of the money for the iPhone?
No.
Did you give the defendant the money before or after the bake sale?
Before.
Would the defendant be fired if he committed any crimes?
Yes.
Has the defendant talked about wanting or getting a phone at all?
Yes.
How much does he get paid?
Minimum wage.
Do you know if the defendant has any other jobs?
No.
Is there any other times besides this one that the defendant has asked for money?
No.
If the defendant sets his mind to something, does he always do it?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. McKenzie, you're excused. Does the defense have any further witnesses at this time? Does the defense rest? Okay. Very well. Members of the jury, this concludes the evidence. Are counsel ready for closing arguments?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cotrozo, you may proceed with the closing argument for the prosecution.
Good morning, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury. My name is Owen Cotrozo, and I'm here to sum up the facts and tell you why Connor McLax is guilty of theft. Before the bake sale, Connor had a flip phone. He was desperate for a new iPhone, but he couldn't afford one. He told this to his friend Saba and his employer Dolores. After the bake sale, Connor had an iPhone. How did he get the money? We, the prosecution, called 3 witnesses, Enrique Mendoza, Mark Chin, and Saba Sultan. They all proved that he stole the money from the bake sale. Enrique, who was in charge of the bake sale, testified that when he counted up the money, he thought at least $250 was stolen. Mark, who was working with Connor, saw him reach into the metal box, take out some money, and shove it into his pockets. He saw him take the money. And Saba, who was Connor's good friend, saw the stolen cash at the bottom of his bag 2 days after the bake sale. Again, Enrique counts the cash, and it's $250 short. Mark saw Connor steal the money, and 2 days later, Saba sees the stolen cash at the bottom of his bag. These facts are why you should find Connor McLax guilty as charged. The people rest, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Bittler, you may proceed with the closing argument for the defense.
Okay, sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Charles Bittler, and I'm here to show you that Connor McLax is not guilty of petty theft. I will remind you of some important facts that should help show you that Connor McLax did not steal. First fact is, 1, that Connor is very trustworthy, much too trustworthy to do something like steal a lot of money. Fact 2 is that there's no proof that any money was stolen at all. Fact 3 is that Connor really wanted New Jersey. If he stole that much money, he wouldn't be able to get New Jersey. He's stuck with old Jersey for at least another year. Fact 4 is that it would be kind of hard anyways to, in one fluid movement, grab a lot of money and put it in your pocket with only one person on a crowded street noticing you. Fact 5 is that it is shown that Mark Chin's testimony is unreliable. Point 1. I will go into more emphasis about it. So, Dolores McKenzie, who has employed Connor for over 2 years now on weekends, says that Connor is a top-notch employee and very nice and trustworthy. Also, Rebecca, the coach, of the lacrosse team, says that Connor really cares about lacrosse and he would not do something such as stealing about $250 from his own lacrosse team. Point 2. There's no proof any money was stolen. There is no proof any money was stolen, and you should understand they keep really bad track of the money. They don't even really keep track of the money, from what Sean Davis said you should understand. Also, there were lots of people that were seen by the coach giving out free cookies and brownies to their friends without asking them to pay, or simply just taking and eating free cookies and brownies. You should understand that these things make it clear that it's quite possible that they didn't earn $1,000, even if there were actually 500 in cookies and brownies to start. They were just about 500. Nobody counted them beforehand, So we don't know there was actually 500. About means there could have been as little as 400 cookies that were actually there. This means that even if people were not giving away free cookies and eating cookies and brownies, there could have only been $800 or $900. I think these reasons conclude that easily there could have only been $750 about earned. It's quite possible that it was just a bad year. Like they say every year they earn about $1,000. About, it can go down, it could go low. They could have been a bad year. They could have only earned $750. Also, point 3, Connor really wanted new jerseys. He was always going on about how old and smelly and ratty the old jerseys were. He really wanted new ones. It was even his idea to get new jerseys with the money. He would have known if he took that much money, wouldn't be enough money to get new jerseys. He'd be stuck with the old smelly ones for at least another year. Point 4, it would be hard to get that much money in your pocket. So let's say the bake sale's going on. I have this box. This is the money box. Inside, there is a bunch of the money that's been earned. Most of this money would probably be in like $1 bills and $5 bills, since in general, people would probably just be buying themselves a cookie or two, right? So let's say I reach in one fluid motion, and I grab a bunch of this money, and then I just stick it in my pocket, and only one person in the whole block sees me. Do you think this is possible? I don't. Also, point 5, Mark Chin's testimony is unreliable. You should understand that Mark Chin, he normally wears glasses, right? But was he wearing them when he saw this happen? No, he was not. And he was all the way down the block, 20 feet away. And there were tons of people in between. And out of all of these people, and in this famous bake sale that lots of people would be going to, he is the only one person out of all of these people that saw this happen. Don't you think that is a little suspicious? Because I do. Sorry. Anyways, also, Mark Chin, he really does not like Connor. He and Connor both play goalie on the lacrosse team, but coach believes Connor is better. So Connor is the starting goalie, meaning that about each game, Connor will get to play at least 2 or 3 times more than Mark is to play. Mark, unlike the coach, believes he is better and resents Connor for being able to play 2 or 3 times more than him almost every single game. Mark wishes he could play as much as Connor, but he can't. But if Connor was found guilty of theft, he would be kicked off the team and Mark would get to play at least as much as Connor gets to play, which means Mark would majorly gain for frauding a story and saying that he saw this happen, because if he was found guilty, he would get to play 4 times maybe more than what he gets to play now. These reasons conclude that even if Connor committed the crime, which he didn't, there are at least a few reasonable doubts to whether he did, which means you as the jury should find him not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm just going to take a few minutes and re-instruct the jury. Members of the jury. Oh, thank you. Members of the jury, you must now decide if Connor McLax is not guilty or guilty of petty theft. To prove that the defendant is guilty of this crime, the prosecution must have proven to you, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant, Connor McLax, took property or money owned by someone else without the owner's permission. As I told you before, proof beyond a reasonable doubt is proof that leaves you very sure that the charge is true. The evidence does not have to eliminate all possible doubt, because everything in life is open to some possible or imaginary doubt. Unless the evidence proves the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, you must find him not guilty. Your decision must be unanimous. That means all of you will need to agree that Mr. McLax is either guilty or not guilty. If all of you do not agree, that is called a hung jury. but I am hopeful that you'll be able to reach a unanimous decision today. I understand that Carlos is the foreperson of the jury. Carlos will lead you in a discussion of the evidence, making sure that each person gets to state his or her opinion. Please keep an open mind as your fellow jurors speak. When you're done deliberating, please take a vote to determine whether Mr. McLax is guilty or not guilty. You may now deliberate, and this court will stand in recess.
Okay, the jury will now deliberate in their jury box. You can take the 10 minutes to take a break, get some water, talk amongst yourselves, but be back here in no less than 10 minutes. So that is 11:40. Be back at 11:40. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I didn't do it. Oh, it was all Betsy. Well, no, it was all Betsy. No.
Right. We were directors. We were
there. We were there. We were support. Really. It's ridiculous.
I dare to speak to this.
Okay, if everyone could take their seats, that would be great. The jury is ready to return their verdict. Come take your seats, Owen, Hudson, Charlie. Don't tell them, shh, 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 don't tell anybody. Okay, let's make sure we have all the participants back. 1, 2, 3. Who are we missing? Jasmine. Yeah. If one side wins, it's not bragging rights. If the other side wins, it's not bragging rights. No one wins, no one loses. All right, here they come. Although we are going to have a winner and a loser. All right, we're getting close. I see Rashawn. I see Enrique. There's Jasmine. Are we almost there? Almost got everybody? All rise.
Please be seated. Foreperson. Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict of guilty or not guilty?
It has been chosen to be a hung jury. 11 not guilty, 1 guilty.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I appreciate the hard work of the jury. Thank you for your service. Thank you to all the attorneys. As it is a hung jury, Mr. Lax, you are free to go, and the prosecution can bring another matter at another time.
Okay, let's have a big round of applause for all of our participants. I want to say a really big thank you, and I am super impressed with the reporters in the audience. That was amazing. You guys were quiet, you were attentive. It was hot in here, and you listened. That was really impressive. And the jury, when I heard them deliberating, they listened so carefully. They did such a good job. They really had some great discussions about the facts. So thank you to everyone. Obviously, thank you to all the participants, the witnesses, and the attorneys. We want to take a second, since we have Judge Riles here, really quick feedback to the group, okay? Just really quick.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I thought everyone did such a great job. It was phenomenal to watch you all get up and work and speak. A lot of you spoke without looking at notes. The witnesses were very well prepared. I thought it was just excellent.
And so one more round of applause for Judge Riles. Thank you so much for taking your time to come in. Ladies and gentlemen, the court stands in recess. Thank you so much for your attention, and congratulations to the participants. Okay.
Before everyone leaves,
Yeah.
we'd like to give a few gifts. We'd like to present a few tokens of appreciation for the many, many hours that so many people put in to make this possible.
Including Rada and Andy.
Susana, Rodrigo, and Swingway, please come forward.
Yay, thank you, students. Come, come, come.
Congratulations, you just graduated.
Yay, Berkeley Law LLMs.
Yay! And you come every week to help out with this class. Thank you. This is a little token.
Yay, Cassandra.
Yay!
This was super fun. If you guys can take time to spend time with these fifth graders in their classrooms, do it. It's really hard and really awesome. Thank you to the teachers again and to Principal Korn. And so we're going to eat lunch outside, right, teachers? So if you will wait for me out in the hallway, I'll lead you to a good spot to eat lunch. Bob has something to say? Yes, please, before you walk out, just look around, see if you left anything. Grab your papers, grab your lunches. Good job, everyone. Thank you, parents, for coming.